Mafia. Interesting play. I don't know. It's a lot to ponder about here. My practice, or my play in the beginning of the game was pretty poor, and mostly stemmed from me reading and working on other projects. But, yeah. So that's what that is. How are things going in chat? I hear some people saying that Caney has been problematic. I'm not talking to anyone else. I'm just talking to you guys. The rest of people can't hear me. If you look, you can see the microphone next to my name. Put the line through it. Yeah, people have been saying Caney is an abusive mod. Whoa. We don't need to quite stop dropping F-bombs right now, but I'm just saying. I'm just talking to chat. Mafia, the Mafia group, the town, the people here that I'm playing with cannot hear me. Caney tried to permaban Zeus Juice? Why would Caney try and permaban Zeus Juice?
Just waiting on one person to get back, I believe.
Esports. Halloween episode.
Caney stole your child?
Everyone's dressed up. Neil's Mafia.
He tried to stab you in the alley?
Back Tim's game.
Caney is your child. Holy crap, chat. You guys are freaking crazy. Caney is good guy. Caney is best mod. Caney set your goldfish on fire. He set your goldfish on fire? That's so sad. Advertisements are over. Sorry, I forgot to mention that.
I'm still waiting for one person to get back. So.
Wow. Look at all these bots. This channel is so popular with bots right now. Caney came to my birthday without bringing a gift.
Unmod Caney. What's going on with chat? Like everybody's like, unmod Caney. Oh my god. What's going on, Caney? What'd you do to them?
But Caney farted in his mouth.
I just opened up a 40 that was opened about a week and a half ago, and it's still just as terrible. It doesn't age well.
Is it Old English?
Steel Reserve.
Okay. Everybody wake up. Except for... How do I put this?
Just give me the news.
just give
Give it to a straight dog.
Lay it on
to me straight.
Doc.
Pretty sure I'm dead, so just tell me.
Just
Unctuous.
one, baby. Just one. Just say one.
Unctuous. And Phil, you're both
Fuck. You shitting me.
Okay, so I was pretty sure that Storzerg was town based on the votes, and that just confirmed it. And
Keith and Eric are safe for me tonight.
the reason I say that is because I had Keith on my safe list, and based on the votes, like it would either have meant that it was something like Keith and Storzerg were Mafia, which I didn't see that, but or that the majority of Mafia were voting on there. So my biggest suspicion is Cameron because of the extremely late vote, and don't give me those looks.
I mean, yeah, my vote was a little late.
No, it was very late.
I mean, it was no
Did
later.
one vote make the difference between him dying or
It doesn't matter. He probably didn't calculate it. Like,
no. I mean, my vote was no later than the two votes that came out when we were voting on Neil earlier, and you guys let that go by. And
But
my
that one
vote
didn't
was
pass, and Storzerg's passed.
Yeah, but Storzerg's would have passed with or without my vote.
Wait, did you vote on Neil? I don't think.
No,
you
I
voted.
did not. I did not.
Hold
vote
on, I
Neil.
have the votes. Let me look.
No, he
Then
didn't.
I
It was Rybo.
voted.
No, I did not
Here,
vote.
look,
What
I
I'm
voted.
saying.
Three people voted for Neil.
I voted
Store,
Store and
Rybo,
Tim.
Tim.
The late
Right.
votes on the first one don't mean
What are you
anything.
talking
Only
about?
one person voted. So if you're
What I-
Mafia, why would you like be the second person to vote? There's no.
What I'm talking about is that you're jumping on my late vote when everybody gave the 2 late votes before a free pass.
Yeah,
So,
but those
I
were
mean, that
votes.
just feels like, no, those votes I feel like could give you more information than a vote that literally the vote would have passed with or without my vote.
I
No,
think you're
there
really
was-
reaching, man.
It was a 50-50, and then 2 people jumped in. And I know one of them was
What?
you. I don't remember who the other one
No,
was. But
it was.
somebody
it was
can
not
remember
a
that if we got to
50-50.
Mafia.
Can I just get a list of the people that voted because I didn't get all of them.
It's
written down.
everybody except for you and Eric.
And Eric.
So
Okay, I thought there were more people who didn't vote.
no,
I-
that's
all
what
I-
I thought
all
too.
I
did
thought
was
it was a 50-50, and then 2 people jumped in. I know Cameron was one of them. I think Rybo was the other. I don't remember.
I
For
was
what?
the-
Jump? No, I definitely voted early.
I was
dude.
I was the last vote, and
I know you were the last. There was somebody right before you though.
I didn't see it, but that might have been.
So,
Okay, so I'd like to say that I am also suspicious of Cameron just because he has been ultimately quiet and almost like
I haven't been more quiet than you.
very much so.
That is
Yes, you
not
have.
true.
I've definitely been talking a lot more. But
No.
anyways, besides that, I would also like to ask the question, just Eric, why, if you felt Storzorg was so town, didn't you defend him to try and get us to not vote him off? Because I was convinced he was Mafia, but obviously I was wrong.
Me too.
But
I honestly didn't go through. I just didn't think it was gonna go through.
The one against
Are
Store?
you kidding?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Who else are we gonna go on, Eric?
I thought it was
Anybody.
fairly well. I guess I was
Anybody?
Yeah, I didn't think he was Mafia.
for me,
Yeah, go ahead.
For me, it wasn't a who else were we going to go on, but Store. I've been playing with him. I played with him on Monday. I played with him on Wednesday, and he tunneled super hard almost every single one of those games. And he was just so chill and flippant during his defense.
Yeah.
I felt that he was
But,
playing
I mean-
the same as the last game we played together, and also playing the same as usual.
I didn't play with
Hey.
Sword last game, but usually, I mean, he takes so much control as town day one, ultra
But he
grip,
has not
man,
done that
ultra
the
vice,
last-
dude.
That's why I was trying to defend him, because the last 2 games I played with him, last Wednesday and on Monday, he played exactly like this. And just tone-wise, just the things he was doing when he did speak up, it seemed very much like his town game.
Well,
I
I think
think-
credit for that, Keith. I mean, that was a good read on that because obviously I was wrong, but you had a good read.
Right?
So there's 6
1, 2,
people
3,
left.
4, 5, 6.
6 people left other than me and Keith, and 3 of them are Mafia.
9.
Okay,
Yeah.
look. We need to do math here because. Okay,
Yeah.
so if there's 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there's 8 people left, right? If we miss Lynch right
On the
now,
double stack, there is definitely 3. So we miss Lynch,
Yeah.
and then we lose.
Yeah.
okay, so with that being said, the odds are 100% in our favor, I think, if the Vigi comes out now, right? So that at least we can eliminate one person from the pool of miss Lynches.
Yeah, Vigi can come out.
I think Vigi should only come out if we're going to be lynching them.
I don't
I
think we can
disagree.
trust it.
We can't trust that
anyway.
You don't
There's
think?
a-
I would
I
not
think
trust
come
any
out
Vigi that came out right now.
There's a really good chance that the Vigi is already dead, and if somebody comes out as Vigi and we just believe them, then
So I want
it's
to
a really
give
easy way to.
I'm trying to think of the meta who would have actually shot that day one.
I
It
think
would
a
have
lot
been
of
somebody who
intelligence.
thought they were gonna die. So perhaps Kimball could have been it. I don't think Kayla would have shot first round. I don't see it.
She's done it before.
I've
She
never
has?
seen her shoot first round
I think
ever.
there's a decent chance it was either Kayla or Kimball.
Well, that kind of okay. Never
It doesn't.
mind.
So
I don't know who it is, but I think they're dead. That's just the end of the story. I
So
don't
how
think it
about
matters who it
Cop?
is.
Anybody have reads on Cop?
Again, I
Look at
think
the-
cops should only come out if we're about to lynch somebody that they checked clean.
Cops should come out if they have a Mafia check right now.
If they have, yes, if they have
on
Mafia,
top?
yes.
I
That
agree.
was a weird. Does anybody have reads on Cop? Why would you phrase it that way? Like
Because this is Lilo, dude. This is the
No,
last
you-
round, and whether or not we If we lynch wrong, then we lose.
Yeah, but town shouldn't be trying to reason out who the cop is because
So
it's up
No,
to
that's
cop.
exactly what Eric was just saying. He was just agreeing with me right now. Like if cop has a good read, then he
No,
needs
but
to
that's
come
not
out.
what you said.
Okay,
What you-
Don't forget people lie
let's
in
make
Mafia.
this simple too. Let's make this
yeah,
simple.
that's not
too.
what you said.
I think okay, I'm not 100% on Keith, but I'm 100% on myself. But if the cop comes out with 2 town checks that are not me or Keith, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's good. That's
I
good.
agree.
I can get behind that.
I don't think that's true though. I think too many people have died though. So. Yep.
I think we should lynch Tim.
Why?
So
Tell me why.
Well,
I was just about to say
I'm
something.
about to say the same. Okay, go ahead, Ryan.
Go ahead. I'm gonna let Keith go first. I'll go after Keith.
Part of it's just process of elimination, and also first time when he was formal, he made one statement that sounded really bad to me. He said, "I wouldn't out myself with those weird, ambiguous statements." I usually don't see town people defending themselves with those types of things.
I didn't say that. Store said that.
No,
That's his
Keith,
accusation.
you were responding to the accusation, and you said, "I wouldn't out myself by making those weird, ambiguous statements."
Oh, okay.
Stork said ambiguous, but he also.
Okay, no, I see what you're saying. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
I just didn't like that thing that you said because, like, you're basically saying, like, if I'm Mafia,
Yeah.
then I'd be good enough to not sound like Mafia, and I read that as being something a Mafia person's more likely to say.
So
Also,
get it, Pregor.
Later in the day, when you were giving your reads, you were just like reading them off of your notes, just like these are the people I have in this list, and I haven't felt like you've given a lot of good insight or observations. Also, the last game I played with you when you were Mafia, you were doing kind of the same thing on day one, where you were just like telling us what you had written in your notes as your reads on people.
Okay.
Can I? Well,
go for it. I want to hear it all.
So my biggest thing with Tim is that he had 4 people. The 4 people were Unctious, Rybo, Phil, and Store. 3 of those are dead. Just Rybo is left.
And he also voted twice. I voted twice too, but Store did too. So, and I know I'm town.
Okay,
Therefore,
so
Tim's Mafia.
I'm good on Rybo personally. The thing with Tim is he had already said that Storzerg was on his safe to kill list, yet he defended him twice. Like, why? Like, unless he's setting up this grand play where only somebody like I would point that out. Like, why would he go through all the trouble defending him when he was an easy kill to begin with?
Because he put pressure on Tim originally, didn't he?
Like, that's the only reason why I don't know if it's Tim. Like, just logic points against it. I'm a logic player, so I don't know. Help me out. What do you guys think about that?
I think that we should stick to the math and say that Tim voted twice and his defense was weak. Unless you want to go on Cameron.
Over the person who voted late on a, it was kind of like a close vote. Like,
I think Cameron's Mafia too.
Like, how do you, Cameron? What's your reason for voting late? Like, why did you do it?
I mean, I've done this before. It's always just me, like, just zoning out a little bit as we go into vote. I don't know why. I haven't played in a couple weeks, but anyone who's played with me knows that this is like not even the second time I've done this.
I know.
So,
last time you did it, we voted you off in your town. But like, how many times are we gonna let that slide?
I mean, you haven't let it slide. Last time you voted me off and I was town. So I am town.
That's true.
And like, if that had been a more meaningful vote, like from me, I think that would be a pretty like decent reason to be really suspicious of me. But in this point, it's just I zoned out a little bit.
Can we hear from Tim? I want to hear a rebuttal.
Yeah. So what do you want me to respond to
I want you to respond to what Keith, myself, and Rybo have said.
Okay, cool. I was asking because usually people are like, we just want reads. All right, so so to go on to what people said on, I don't remember who said this about me, but that I was defending Store. like I said I was going to vote for Store. There was no way I was going to really retract it, even though I was kind of like near the end. I was like, maybe I actually shouldn't vote on him. The reason I was bringing up those points about Store was I was partially defending him because I didn't want people to vote on him because they thought he was playing differently. I thought that was not a great thing to do because I would rather vote on him because you think of his actions are being a bit strange. That was the only reason why. To Keith's point, sorry, I'm like really struggling to remember like exactly what you said. I don't want to get it wrong. I don't want to put words in your mouth, essentially.
Oh, well, I mentioned the one thing you said during your first defense.
Yes,
but then,
the ambiguous thing, right? The saying, yeah, I totally agree that that's not the greatest thing to say, and I probably would have outed someone else, like saying pretty much because I'm acting weird, there's no way I could be Mafia. I would have to file the under. Yes, that's me being a bit shady, and I apologize to the town for doing that. And I agree, I've been playing a bit weird, and that's why I kind of want to push that fact out there that I was like if I was actually playing Mafia, I'd be thinking everything through, right? I wouldn't be saying weird shit.
No.
But
I don't think that's true.
okay, that's fine. Let's disregard that then. But that's just where I'm coming from. And then, I mean,
So,
like,
Tim,
there's nowhere to change your mind about
weirder
that.
shit.
So that's it.
my problem with it is like if you're town and you get accused of doing something and people are saying like it makes you Mafia, like the normal reaction would be to explain like why you did it as town and not just say like, oh well, I wouldn't do that as if I were Mafia, because
I mean, I felt like I did explain it
something.
as I was town. I said I wanted to move the town in a different direction than we were going, and I personally would not. And I said I personally would not do that as Mafia because I would not want to draw that kind of attention to myself. Now, of course, there are many flaws with that I am seeing right now. So take that as you will. But that's my town explanation for why I did that.
Okay, but then the more important thing that I had against you was like for the rest of the day, it didn't feel like I didn't feel like I was getting good participation from you. And
Okay.
when you were giving your reads, you're just like saying like, I wrote in my notes that like we can lynch this group of people. It's like not a lot of thought there.
Okay, that's fair. So I mean, I came back to the most critical note. No, I came back to the most like trivial note taking parts after I gave my critical reads, which were Storzerg and Cable. I said both. I was going on Storzerg because I had him written down as being a bit graspy on me early on. Now this is we concluded that I understood why he was being a bit how I would determine it as graspy because it was early in the day. I was doing weird stuff. That's fine, but still the vibe I was getting for him, like I'm gonna vote for you. And the second person who I went on was Cable, who I was just like, this guy has not talked that much. I just don't get a good vibe from him, and he's like the process of elimination. Then I went to the listing thing in which I listed people, and then I just said, here's just my reads, take them as you will.
So the thing is like when you're saying you think he's Mafia because he's grasping or something, like
Yeah.
those types of reads are very easy to come up with if you're Mafia. Like there's not any real detail to them. It doesn't take a lot of thought. You can just say something and then that's it.
Well,
So
that's funny you're saying that because that's exactly the reason I gave to Storzerg as to why I thought he was weird. So I mean, I have to respect your read on that. I mean, earlier on, I felt the same way about Ryan too. Like he was kind of, I was in the line of fire of Ryan, and I'm not getting a good vibe from him either. But
Why the sigh, Neil?
Let Eric go.
You're not gonna like this, Neil. I think
Lovely.
logic points to Neil being Mafia.
You're not gonna
And
like
I'll
this,
tell you
Neil. but
why.
you're Mafia.
I'll tell you why. Just based on the votes. So we know that Storzerg is town, right? And there were 3 people that voted for Neil. Usually when it's like 3 or 4 people that vote, it's usually a vote without Mafia. So like if there are 3 people that are voting, like maybe Mafia could have possibly pushed it over or something like that. And the fact that Storzerg is town, it leads me to believe, and I have a pretty good town read on Ribo, it leads me to believe that none of the Mafia voted for him.
If all the Mafia voted for me, it still wouldn't have passed. There were 11 people at the
Sure,
time,
but-
3 Mafia,
Sure,
3
sure,
town,
but
that brings it to 6.
It would have been
6
close.
and
It would have been close, right? So, and it's not like they're all going to jump in at the same time. So if you're town and people have got, I mean, it was a pretty decent, like, go on you.
I
Like,
expected more votes on it.
exactly.
That's
So
the
I
worst-
don't understand why there were only 3 votes. And I think that you're most likely Mafia.
Okay, the person who formaled me got killed last night.
Sure.
So
and that's even worse.
No, but I'm saying that the person who formaled me opted not to vote me. I think that you're wrong, and that the people who initially started it have backed out and were convinced, and only a few people were unconvinced. I don't think that your logic works there. You're saying
So
you're
do you
basically
think
what
Free
you're saying
Mafia
is
voted for you?
no. You're saying is if you're not killed by town, then you're Mafia, because if you were Town, Mafia would have killed you. So if we don't kill you with a lynch, then you're Mafia. That's your reasoning right here. Or if you don't almost die, then you're probably Mafia. And I disagree, because people will call votes and people will discuss it, and then we'll just go for the vote anyway when most people are like, well, whatever, it's not going to pass, and don't hop on. I didn't think that vote was going to pass. I think a lot of people didn't think that vote was going to pass. I was actually surprised that I got 3. I expected 1, maybe 2. I disagree with your analysis, sir.
Well, I'm just saying by the numbers, like if it's 3 people that vote, then what are you saying? All 3 Mafia voted for you in your town, or are you saying that it was 3 uninformed town? Is that what you're getting at? And none of the Mafia voted?
I don't know who they were. They could have been they could have been 2 towns and a Mafia. Could have been 2 Mafia in a town. We know there's at least 1 town there because
were you playing reasonably pro town at the beginning of the game? You weren't.
I agree. I'm not saying that I was playing pro
Well,
town.
then why wouldn't Mafia vote for you? That's an easy kill.
It wasn't an easy kill because I didn't get killed. Because my defense was fucking solid. Why didn't you vote for me?
Why didn't I vote? Because I wasn't convinced. I was one of the.
Well, there you go. No one else was convinced either.
No, but no, that's not what I'm saying though. Like I'm saying that if there were enough people that were convinced, Mafia could have easily pushed that over, and I felt like there was enough. If I were Mafia, I would have fucking voted there. Like that would have been an easy vote for me to make.
Well, I'll make note of that for the future then. But I disagree. I think you're approaching this in a, if we don't lynch you, you're Mafia, or if we don't almost lynch you, you're Mafia, and I think that is a very flawed thinking, and I think that is a way to try and, I don't want to say I think that's a way to draw people in and like rally against me, but I think that's poor logic, and I expect better from you.
So no.
Eric, I want to hear right. Let me give you an aside. You just said if I were Mafia there, I would have voted for you. So does that mean that you think that Rybo and Tim are Mafia?
What do you say? What's your?
You said if I was Mafia there, I would have voted for you.
No, I'm saying that he's Mafia in their town.
Okay.
I mean, I'm
saying if I were Mafia and I knew he was town, I would have voted there because I felt like that could have been pushed over.
You didn't put the "and I knew he was town" part in, and that kind of threw me.
How would I not? Like, if I'm Mafia, am I going to vote on a Mafia? Like that's implied, right?
You can bust
Mafia vote on Mafia all the time.
But like you know what I was getting at.
I think Neil's status is like at that time as being Mafia or not was really like not something people could judge. Enough there were people, it was a discussion, and like when we went to the vote, I don't think that there was a consensus among town at all. So it's very conceivable that some town would vote and some town wouldn't, and I don't think that that's a time when Mafia would feel comfortable like all 3 of them jumping in to vote for Neil, because if like it turned out that not enough town voted for Neil, that would be a really obvious tell of who the Mafia were.
Another thing, do you guys notice? The minute I called out Neil, nobody's saying anything. Like nobody's accusing him. Like it's only people defending him. And why? Why?
Oh my
is
God!
that?
There are people defending me. I must be Mafia. No one's accusing me except like I don't understand where you're going with this shit, dude.
No, dude, seriously. If there's 12 out of 14 voting, that's a town player dying vote, right? If there's only 3 or 4 people that vote for somebody, that's a Mafia person didn't get lynched.
No,
I'll be honest. I'm suspicious of Eric and like how pursuing he's been, but I'm also very suspicious of Neil. It just seems odd.
I mean, I'll just point out why I have been defending Neil a little bit. At the very beginning of the game, when Neil went on me, I felt like that was really pro-town, and that like I know he was making some really unpro-town moves later. No, I mean he made some really bad town moves after that with what he was talking about with the other stuff. But I got a read right then, and that's why right now I'm.
Okay, you guys want to talk about
formal
suspicious as
Cameron?
Fuck? Yeah, I second that.
Okay.
You talk as suspicious as fuck. Look at this guy. Ever since I went after him, he's been trying to like
See,
get all my
you just
good stuff.
defended yourself for no reason.
Formal on
Zero
camera.
reason. You just defended yourself.
He was asking why people were defending Neil. I decided to volunteer. And
No, nobody asked. Nobody asked. You
Eric
just
did.
simply
Eric did.
stated the fact.
Eric said no one's
He said,
accusing
he
Neil.
said, why isn't anybody?
Accusing Neil.
Yeah, he
Just
said, why
because
isn't anyone accusing Neil? And he said, why are there just people defending? And I said, I decided to just
And
volunteer
you
because
decided
I haven't.
to defend yourself.
No, well, I guess, but I've been not people have been accusing me of not talking throughout most of
I
the
feel
game.
like
So
you're
I just
trying to draw pressure off
Let
yourself
them
right
talk.
now.
People will dig their own grave.
people have been telling me that I haven't been talking most of this game, and now that we're on day 2, I decided that I wanted to get more involved this day because it's a little easier to get involved on day 2 when there's fewer people and there's more information out there. So I decided to just start talking, and if I drew attention to myself, that's just because I'm kind of bad at getting myself involved.
Okay, I don't rescind.
Is that your whole formal defense?
I mean, what else? What do you want to hear? Like you?
Right. Can I?
I have enough accusation on you based off the late vote, along with your weak defense and your point of defending Neil, with drawing pressure off yourself that nobody put on you.
What are you
is
talking?
enough
People have been putting
suspicious-
pressure. People have been putting pressure on me this whole
Not
game.
at the specific point that you defended yourself.
Here we go. Here we go.
Alright.
Obviously, this is an important lynch, but
Yes,
go ahead,
exactly.
Eric.
So this is why I'm about to say this. I agree that Cameron may be scummy, but I don't like how everybody's trying to rush this right now. I don't want to
Nobody's
do this.
rushing
I want to. What I want to rescind this. I want to ask a few more questions because I think I know where this is going.
Okay, let's rescind.
Ryan,
Vote on
why are you
Cameron.
not more suspicious of Neil right now?
Why?
Yeah.
Because, well, the thing that you said didn't make logical sense to me. And you keep saying I'm a logic player, but if somebody
Really?
accuses, yeah, because I don't think that logic is bulletproof.
You don't think a 3 or 4 person vote doesn't mean that it's more likely that he's not town? Like,
So,
you don't
Eric-
think nobody on Mafia voted for him? They were all just town?
Do you mind if I jump in right here, Ryan, really quickly?
Sure.
The problem, Eric, is like I agree with you, but you said it in a way that made it seem like it's either Neil is Mafia because there's 3 and 4, or and then obviously Storzerg is town because everyone voted for him. Right now, what you're saying is what I'm hearing from you is Neil is more likely Mafia, and that's not what you're saying earlier. And
Yes,
earlier
more
it kind
likely
of
Mafia.
But earlier it did not come out that
now.
way. Earlier, you're rubbing everyone the wrong way. Earlier, I didn't want to jump in.
No. I said if we're looking at this logically, like more likely it is that Neil is Mafia based on the votes. Like a town vote that got a town that got lynched is more like a 12, a 13, right? A Mafia that didn't get lynched is your normal like 3s, 4s, that kind of thing.
Another reason why I'm not completely convinced is because of this. A confirmed town brought forth the formal. The confirmed town did not vote to kill him. Therefore, it is likely that other not confirmed towns, but other towns would not have voted for the same reasons that the confirmed town didn't.
Obviously,
Who
so
were
that
the other
makes it
two
even
that
more
voted on
likely.
me? Aside
That
from
makes it
Store?
even more likely, though. If you're saying less and less
me,
confirmed towns,
or Tim, and
let me
Store.
make this point. Let me make this point. You're saying if less and less confirmed towns thought that he was Mafia, that kind of means more likely that, why didn't Mafia vote, right? Like
Maybe they did. Maybe it was Store and 2 Mafia. Maybe it was Store, Rybo, and Tim.
I'm just having a hard time believing that you're saying why wasn't it Mafia, and Tim is probably my biggest scum read, and so like I that's where I'm at.
See, Ryan, this is the problem I'm having with you right now. Like, normally in this case, you'd be extremely paranoid, and you're not showing me that. Like, why are you not showing paranoia right now? Like, we're at Lilo.
So because I don't think that we're going forward to the part where we're going to move forward to a lynch. Now, if it gets to a point where we're lynching somebody that I don't like, then I'm gonna speak up and be really,
Okay,
in
so
defense of
what
them.
are your,
This is my Mafia read on Ryan right now.
yeah, I am suspicious of Ryan and Cameron mainly.
Let me explain.
so-
Like last week when we played with Ghost Crawler, whatever, I didn't really say much. And then when he was being formaled, I defended him. Even though he was Mafia, I was town. I stood up and defended him once I saw that a bunch of people were jumping on a quiet guy. And that's usually what I do, is if I see somebody be formaled, then I step in and I defend them during their formal. If I see things are going the way that I think are good, then I'll throw in my defense here and there. But
Keith, I want to hear your thoughts on Ryan, and I want to hear your thoughts on Neil.
I'm suspicious of Ryan, but I don't know. At this point, I'm thinking, I'm hoping that the 4 Mafia are all within Neil, Tim, Ryan, and Cameron.
3 Mafia, right?
How many
Why
mafia?
not? Why not Cable?
I just don't feel like he's Mafia. I don't have a good explanation for it.
Well, Ryan, in day one, did you defend Cable? As
No.
far as
I don't
Cable
think
is.
anybody
the
really
way
defended
you
me.
stated the way he played. What did you say?
I said Cable's the type of person where if it gets to the end of the day, then he can be a good lynch.
Okay.
Not today though.
Yeah,
It's
this
not-
feels like Neil and Ryan Mafia to me.
It's 26 minutes into the day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
If
today
I had
I
a-
don't. No, on
Eric.
Lilo you don't lynch people that just because they're quiet. On Lilo you take your time and you get a right person.
Eric, I think your town. I think Keith is town, and I'm not sure about Tim. And my 3 Mafia reads are Cameron, Ryan, and Cable.
So why did Cable and Cameron go so hard on each other? Like, I'm with you on there. That's why I thought that maybe it's one of the two of them and Neil and Ryan. That's what I'm thinking.
I mean,
But would Neil on lie low for town attack Cameron when he could win the game with a mislynch?
Wait, say that one more time.
What?
Okay. I'm almost convinced that Cameron is Mafia. Okay. Neil pressured Cameron on a lie low.
Yes.
Why would he do that when he has a chance to end the game today?
He's saying if Neil is Mafia,
but
there's no
a
way
lot
he
of
would out his Mafia.
There's a lot of ifs in there. Like Neil can play unconventional as well.
I
At the
don't
same
think-
time, Cameron could be town. I don't know. Like,
Dude, if you have a chance to W, you go for it without
Sure,
trying to
but-
opt your people.
Sure,
I
I
don't.
agree. If
I don't
that
think
can-
I'm gonna put that past Neil. And if Neil did that, I think it's a mistake on his part as Mafia. So,
Right.
do you see what I'm
So-
saying here?
No, I do see what you're saying, but you're assuming
Ryan
that
has
Cameron is
deflected
town
off Cameron and
or
Cable
Mafia.
twice.
Sorry, Cable is my second biggest scum read.
Keith, what is
Who's
that?
your biggest?
Oh, guys,
Tim.
Keith,
He said
I'm
Tim.
Sorry.
Did someone try to say
Um,
something now?
I
Yeah,
do not want to defend Cable. So if there's been any deflection, it's been incidental.
And it's been on Cameron.
Been on Cameron.
Yeah, a small deflection on Cameron.
Keith, what do you want to say?
Okay, I don't remember what Neil said that you guys are talking about him going after Cameron. So what I'm about to say might not make much sense. But at the start of the day, it felt like everyone was jumping on Cameron really hard, and so I don't think that's a spot where Mafia people are going to be sticking up for him if they're Mafia together. And again, I don't remember exactly who was saying what, so maybe this doesn't make any sense. But if Neil and Cameron are both Mafia, then that would be a spot where I could see like Neil jumping in too to make sure he gets some credit for it after kill power goes down, something like that.
I was saying that
Keith,
Cameron kept defending me and sticking up for me when I didn't ask for it. And was like, it felt to me because I
Yeah.
went against Cameron fairly
It was a little
hard at the
bit
very
different.
very beginning. The first thing I said was, "Look at Cameron's face." And ever since then, it felt to me like Cameron was trying to get on my good side by defending me here and defending me there. That was what I was bringing up.
I mean, I wasn't necessarily trying to get on your good side, but we were having a lot of people, and like we're at a really important lynch, so I had been.
And
was
I appreciate
saying
that,
how
but
I felt about that. Like it had nothing to do with you. Like it was just
I
the
understand, and
fact that-
if that's your true intention, I appreciate that. But the way that it feels to me is that you are hoping to rally a town member to your side. Whether it reads like a Mafia play, but it might not be. But it reads Mafia to me, and I would love to, pressure you more and find out more. But Eric had us rescind our formal where we were pressuring you so that he could talk about me some more.
So Keith, did you talk about Neil? I don't remember if I heard you talk about Neil.
I don't.
Okay, wait. Stop asking Keith, man. Ryan, why do you
It's
not
trying
want to
to
kill
keep it tough.
Cameron?
Seriously, Ryan.
You give me one reason why you don't want to kill Cameron right now, and I won't do it.
Can't. To be honest,
One.
I don't really respect Cameron's Mafia game that much, and I usually stick up for people who tend to be quiet and easy bussable people. I'm not sticking up for him, but I like to lynch people who I feel lean Mafia instead of people who just are easier lynches.
You don't classify Cable as quiet, easy, lynchable people?
Cable is scarier to me than Cameron. I've played Mafia with Cable. We've been Mafia together, and he kind of is really easy to just sit back. And I think the game we were together, he even played the newbie card a couple of times, and was like, "Oh, explain it to me," and like just shit like that. So he's a scarier person to me than Cameron is.
Okay.
I don't like that.
Eric and Ryan and Rybo, can I join your town circle?
See, I'm not 100% convinced on you, dude, but
You're
I
not
mean,
off
like,
my shit list, Tim.
I mean,
What did you say,
Ryan,
Cam? What
wait,
did you
Ryan
say?
said you're on his shit list. Like, why?
I said
why are,
Rybo. I meant
didn't you
Eric.
said
Who was
Ryan,
your, who
Rybo,
were
and
the
Eric?
people you said were in your town list that you wanted to join?
I want to be on Eric and Rybo's town club.
Tim, I think you're Mafia too. Like, it's between you,
Tim, look me
Ryan,
in the camera.
Cameron, and Cable.
Come up here, bro.
That's the Mafia.
Tell me you're not Mafia,
I'm not Mafia.
Are you willing to cut your dick off again, like last?
dude.
Okay, look, we can, like,
Wait, Rybo, real quick
statistically
clarification.
speaking.
You don't think Neil is Mafia at all?
No, I do not think Neil's Mafia because I've just
Okay.
based my reasons off of it. I am almost convinced.
I feel like we're getting nowhere, and we
Mafia.
really have to do like
I'm
a process of
100% convinced
elimination.
Cameron's Mafia, and I don't think that Neil would take a chance at winning on day 2.
Can we hear some more from Cable? He
the
hasn't
kill.
spoken yet in a while.
And why do you keep pressuring people, Cable? Let's hear your thoughts, man. You ask Keith,
I try
you
to
ask
see where
me.
people align. And so I try to see who's aligning with who, why they're aligning, when they change alignments. I try to see who pressures who and who defends who. So my Mafia reads right now are amongst the 4 of Neil, Ryan, Cameron, and Tim. I mean, it's odd to me that Eric's so pushy, but it doesn't put me in Mafia to him. And even though you pressured me at the beginning, I don't think that you're Mafia either. So I don't know. He's either got me completely fooled or he's town. I'm pretty sure he's town. But I don't know. The most comfortable 2 that I feel voting today are Ryan and Neil. Cameron with a close 3rd. Tim's still shady as crap to me because he's just always shady. But I mean, those are my 2. Based on who's aligned with who and who's offended who and who's pressured who, Neil and Ryan seem very suspicious to me.
Hey, Cable.
Ryan,
right?
who are your
Basically.
Mafia?
Okay. Go ahead.
Ryan,
Cable and Tim.
Yeah, Cable and Tim. Biggest one being Tim. I don't like Tim's
Who's
defense.
3? Who's number 3?
Probably Cameron.
And you don't suspect Neil at all.
It could be Neil. Neil's probably number 4. I mean, I'll put it to you this way. My almost definite town circle is Eric and Keith. Right outside of that is Rybo, and then I'm working from there.
Here's the problem we have. Everybody thinks you 5 are Mafia.
You 5?
Yeah, you're included in that. And
Yeah,
Cable's.
but there's 8 people in the game.
I don't think you're Mafia, Neil, but I don't. I'm not 100%
No, it's fine. I
convinced
mean,
on you,
yeah.
right?
So
Like,
basically, what we're saying is no one thinks that Eric, Keith, or Rybo is Mafia. That's a better way of
Oh.
saying it than everyone thinks. Like,
Here's my point. And this is why I asked Ryan who's your 3rd and who subsequently is your 4th. When you have so much overlap on Mafia, when a Mafia person is presented with who do you want to kill, you're probably going to say, oh, I want to kill 2 of the 5 people that are Mafia or that are town that they know are town. And then, yeah, maybe 3rd or 4th or maybe even the 2nd one might be a Mafia person because it doesn't matter. All they have to do is kill 1 town and it's over. So it doesn't matter who your 2nd and your 3rd is.
okay, well,
That's
I
true. But
completely agree with that.
then don't ask me to rank them. Then
No, because I want to know who might be Mafia based on
okay,
your
I
ranking.
understand that. But if you're asking me to rank, then
Done.
then don't give him shit for ranking.
I'm not. I'm just making the point from that is what I'm saying. Like,
I don't think you can read too much into the ordering though, because like one specific person in the game doesn't get to control who gets lynched. So like whoever they put on their list of 3, like that's who they have to vote for if it comes up.
All right. I'm feeling. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
go ahead.
No, Keith was talking and I interrupted him like a jerk. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. It's like right now I'm like focusing in on Neil, Ryan, Cameron, and Cable. Like, I think like a Mafia. I know this gonna sound so stupid, but like a Mafia is definitely in there. And like I just feel like we just.
What can you list the
We
names
know
again?
Cameron. We
Oh,
know
Neil,
Cameron.
Cameron, Cable.
We know Cameron's Mafia.
that's the most
There's gotta be
obvious
one.
thing. If you're excluding yourself, that's the most obvious comment of all time.
Like,
I
of
mean,
course,
like, what
there's
do-
gonna be mafia in
Dude,
there.
let me
like,
ask you
like
guys this. Let me ask you
100%.
guys this. Let me ask you guys this. Cameron, and to everybody else, and then we'll follow up. Cameron, what have you produced in 2 days, other than a little bit of pressure feeding back on other people?
It's like an
What have I
interview.
produced?
What have you pointed out to town that has been productive?
Dude,
One
look
bit.
at Tim right now.
I'm okay with Tim. I'm talking to Cameron.
All right.
But he's saying, look at his body language and his facial features.
Who knows what Tim's doing, dude? I've seen him rage in the first 20 seconds of a game.
Also true.
So, Cameron, give me one thing that you produced for town this in 2 days. Positive.
I mean, during the entire first day, the stuff that everybody ended up producing ended up being really anti-town because we lynched Storzer. So I haven't produced that much that's pro-town. Firstly, because on day one I didn't end up really speaking that much, and then since day 2 started, it's basically been me defending myself. One time, I guess I defended myself too eagerly, but I did. When I was trying to defend myself, or when I did, like, I guess, do what people found suspicious of me, I was trying to be pro-town right there and saying something that I felt was really was pro-town to me. And since then, like, it's just been people telling me, or people talking to each other about whether or not I'm Mafia. And at that point, for me to volunteer anything to attack somebody or to defend somebody or to just spontaneously defend myself, all of that comes off pretty well as me reading more Mafia. So I don't really know what you expect me to have produced for town at this point, because I'm not really left with very many options to help town when I'm on the defensive.
Tim, what did you say
So we
about
should have
your
killed
thoughts
you
on
day
Cameron?
one.
Why? What did I do day one that was
I don't know.
suspicious at all?
Store at least pointed some things out. You haven't pointed out anything.
Tim, what were your thoughts on Cameron?
I haven't presented a lot of thoughts on camera. I'm just gonna say it's kind of funny because it feels like Ribo's giving him like a fucking end of the year review. Like, I mean, actually, I when I think about it, I don't like Cameron's defense. The first time he was formal, then actually now, like, I just don't like it. So
Ryan,
this was a heat craft.
Ryan,
Yes.
I'm more interested in what you have to say than Tim about Cameron.
I
I
think
gotta tell you, man, I'm most like you were so suspicious. Like, you're second on my shit list, dude. Like,
I hear you. So, again, Cameron's the type of person. I mean, he's sitting here and he's stating the obvious. And in situations like this, and even not in situations like this, I'm a big body language type person. I'm getting a null read from Cameron. What Cameron's saying is basically, we all lynched the wrong person, so what could I possibly have provided? Because everybody who provided anything was wrong, except for the people who didn't vote to kill Store.
okay.
And
I think
that's
producing
true.
something is better than nothing. So
I
Right.
disagree. I think leading town towards killing somebody who is not Mafia is a net negative for town, whereas not producing anything either way is at least a neutral for town. Leading us to kill Storzer was a net negative for town.
obviously,
And
right? I
yeah.
know.
So what I'm saying is, if I had pointed out something that helped lead us to killing Storzer during that game, then would I be able to say that now as being a pro-town move? And all of the things that you've said have been pro-town for everybody haven't been so pro-town. So I
At
don't know
least
what you're
talking about
expecting.
information. I haven't really said anything that's been anti-town either. Voting on Storzerg isn't really anti-town. You got to remember that 12 other people did it, including yourself.
So, Ribo, I would argue that out of all of the people alive, it's mainly been yourself, Eric, and Keith who have provided the most pro-town things because they seem the most town. But the rest of the people that are left are still suspicious and all voted to kill the wrong people. And that's kind of what Cameron's saying. It's just very obvious.
Yeah, all I'm really saying is I don't understand what kind of answer you want from me to that question that would actually make you feel better about me being not Mafia, because I don't know what I could have possibly produced there.
I think
Yeah.
Cameron is pretty freaking Mafia here, but I really don't like your approach to this, Rybo.
Eric,
Well,
Eric,
there's
you have-
there's
you
a
went
certain
on a
point of
rampage
pressure
and
that
then
that
you
I try to
quiet.
do. I mean, I'm a body language reader too, so if I can get somebody to crack, I'm gonna try.
Okay.
I want to hear what Eric has to say.
I'm thinking that if there's a cop in the 5 and they have a town check on somebody in the 5, that they should come out.
Yes.
I agree.
I mean, they have
Absolutely.
No, we narrowed it down even further now. First, it was if you have 2.
to. Right.
Now I think it's just 1. I think that would put us in a good position.
And definitely, if you're about to get lynched, if you have 0 and you're about to get lynched, please.
Or if the person you're checking is about to get lynched.
Yes.
It's Lilo. You have to come out if the person you town checked is getting lynched. I mean,
Yes, Keith?
Neil, the thing you were just saying, you said that you think Cameron is like very much Mafia, but you don't
I
like
think he's
the way
pretty
that
scummy. Yeah.
but you don't like the way that Rybo is going after him. Can
No.
you elaborate a little bit more?
The
on
whole
that?
what have you done to help town line? I think that there are a few people in this room that haven't done anything to really help town. So I think the concept of if you didn't help town, we should kill you is a poor one.
Okay, it wasn't
What are you actually
necessarily
saying about
helping
Rybo
town. It was
then?
more the fact that what have you pointed out at all?
Yeah, but I would
That
like to
was
say
more what I
there
meant.
are a
If
few
you
people
meant
here that
that
haven't really pointed out anything of use.
But when you made that statement, what I'm hearing from you is basically like, okay, I agree that Cameron is Mafia, but then there's this other reason, then we should look at this and it's suspicious. Like,
No, I'm just saying that I don't like his method of accusing. I think that he's pushing for the wrong reasons, but he's getting to the same goal as me, if that makes sense.
but then what's the point of pointing that out? I don't understand what you're trying to do.
Oh, I don't like. How should I say this? Just because that we reached the same verdict doesn't mean that his methods are correct, and I want to be clear that I don't agree with his methods. I want to separate myself from his approach to this because it's the long game. Like later when he does that sort of thing again, I want to be able to say, hey, you're using the wrong argument to attack someone that I think is innocent, and then they can't. Then I can point to the fact that earlier when he did that, I didn't agree with the approach either. I agreed with his verdict, but not his approach because this is a game that continues and we play every week. So his method, wrong. And I want to point that out now and be able to refer to this decision here later on in the games. But I still agree with where he's
Keith,
going.
who are you suspicious of right now?
I don't know. I'm still not making good progress. I tend to agree that Cameron is probably Mafia. I don't know exactly how certain I am of it.
How about Neil or Tim or Ryan?
I just don't know. I'm trying to look at the way that these people are interacting with each other, and I'm not making as much progress as I would like. I think Neil is one of the most difficult people to read, and right now I have no idea. I'd like to believe that he's town based on very nebulous things, but I also think he could be Mafia. And the way that Ryan and Tim have been interacting with each other, I want to say that they're probably not both Mafia, but I don't know which one I would lynch. So, go ahead, Neil. I don't have more.
Since you've been playing with us on Wednesdays, have you ever been Mafia?
Yes, I was Mafia in one game where we had a weird setup. There were 2 hypnotists and
Okay, but that was like a silly game then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, I was having trouble with my connection, and I kept disappearing for a lot of the game.
So, because my question here is, somehow we've all gotten to the point where we all have been working on the assumption that Rybo, Keith, and Eric are totally fine, and we're not worried about them. And I find myself looking at you guys and trying to figure out who's Mafia. And then I look at Keith, and I look away immediately without even giving it a second thought. And then I was like, wait a minute. Why the hell have I not given Keith a second thought? This guy has been slipping under our radar. I'm not saying you're Mafia, but you haven't. I don't know enough about your playstyle to know when you're Mafia, and you were just so quiet and so relaxed and so calm that it makes me wonder, what your Mafia playstyle is like, and I was hoping that someone here had played with you when you were Mafia.
Yes, actually,
I played with him last Monday.
Was he
When he
Mafia
was
on that
Mafia.
Monday?
Yes, he was.
Yes.
What's his playstyle like?
His Mafia and his town play is very similar.
Okay, well then I want to
He's
remove
played a
him
lot
from
of
the
Mafia, I'm pretty sure.
secure list
It's
because
not-
why
it's
the
not
fuck
like
is he getting away with being town when he has?
I wanna-
Let's just put it. Let's
wanna
just put
say-
it this way. Trump brought him into the game,
Hold
so you never know.
No. Okay.
actually, Ryan was the first one he
Yeah,
invited.
I
me to.
brought him into the game. I
Oh,
want to say,
apologize.
Keith. Okay, his Mafia game is like his town game. That being said, I don't think he's Mafia in this game.
Okay, but
Neil,
I just
wanna-
want to not. We're at a situation where we're at Lilo. We need to be careful with who we kill, and we have given 3 people a free pass, and we're only talking about the 5 of us, right? We just keep talking about this 5, and that is really bad play because what if Rybo and Keith are Mafia, and we just keep looking at the 5 of us, and we're trying to single out the one Mafia from the 5 of us, you know?
It's true,
I
but
think
These
we
are the
can all
kind
kind
of
of
things
agree
that
that.
I want to hear
Strong
from
read
you.
on
Eric
Cameron.
is,
Why
like,
are you
fairly-
putting pressure on other people?
Hold on. Wait, let me talk. So I
Okay.
think Eric has been playing pretty pro-town. He's been very active, and he's been pro-town, despite his ridiculous accusations against me. I think Keith and Rybo voted against me too, along with Tim, and that makes me a little uncertain. Because I thought it was pretty clear that I was town. Keith is the most suspicious of the people that have been cleared, well, faux cleared as town, because he has really been very, very quiet, and he's been getting a pass. He's kind of turning into another Alan, where people just let him be quiet until the end and then hope that he's not Mafia, and I don't really like that. So Cameron is still my number 1 target. I am still not quite happy to kill him yet, but he's my number 1 target. I think that it would do the town well to look at Keith a little bit harder, and not just kind of presume that he is free. And then I would like to take a look at Rybo and then continue looking at everyone else. Eric.
So these are the kinds of things that I want to be hearing from people who are typically more skeptical, aka Ryan. Like, you were quick to say, okay, Eric and Keith are safe for me for this round. Well, dude, it's Lilo. Like, just you're gonna do that just based on a vote? Like, that's not like you. Like,
That's
I've played
exactly
games
like me.
before where I'm like so fucking town, and you're like, oh, I still don't know about Eric. Like, I've never seen you like just jump to say, okay, they're safe for me this round. Like,
I said that at the beginning of the day, and
Yeah.
you guys are still playing very town.
it just something's not adding up with you, and I feel like this is
Wait,
your
wait,
Mafia.
wait. Hold on.
Eric,
I just
Eric,
tried
I
to
have
bring the
go-
discussion towards Keith. Can we talk about Keith before you go after Ryan
Neil,
again, please?
can I do a quick rebuttal and then perhaps we can go on Keith? It's like I agree that Keith has been getting a free pass, but I feel like we're starting from square zero with Keith. Like I'm gonna have to disagree with the fact that it's like Keith and Rybo, and we're looking for 1 out of 5. I actually think if Keith is Mafia, then we have 2 people in the 5. Like I'm pretty confident about that.
Agreed
I played
with
with-
that numbers game.
I've played with Keith before, and he's like this. And the only time I've seen him play as Mafia, and the only time I've seen him play as Mafia is he lost. And the only reason why he lost is they did a process of elimination. So they couldn't even read Keith. They just had to eliminate him
Yeah.
with like a procedural lynch.
Well,
so
we
what
should-
I'm saying, Neil, the last thing I want to say is, are you confident that you can sway the rest of the town to vote on Keith? Because
I'm not
I don't
saying
think
we
so.
need to vote on Keith. I'm not saying I think Keith is Mafia scum. I'm saying that we are being fools by not looking at that. And I,
I mean,
think
I've
that
I just think it's not that productive right now. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
agree with it. It's just not
specifically thought-
productive
I'm
right
sorry. Do you not give a shit if we win or not?
now.
Are you
I
not
do.
in this game?
I
Let's
am
look
in
at
this
fucking
game.
Keith then. Let's spend 5 minutes looking. We spent 5 minutes talking about looking at him. We could have spent
All
those
right.
5 minutes looking at him, and then we would have been somewhere better than this.
All right, Neil, spend 5 minutes looking at Keith and come back with all the information you
Keith,
get.
what have you done to help town?
No, that's not a valid reason.
Defended Storzer. The reason.
That's a valid reason,
I'm
Neil.
asking
Wait.
Keith, shut your faces, please. I love you all. I don't mean disrespect, but I want to hear from Keith. That was the goal here. So let him talk. Just don't interrupt him. Let him speak.
I defended Storzer very hard, and I tried very hard to save him, and people lynched him anyway, and now we're at Lilo. So if you want something that's pro-town, I think that's about as good as you're going to get.
I'd like to hear more from you. Kiwi made a
Like
very
a-
good point the other day when he said if you let someone talk long enough, if they're Mafia, they're going to fuck up. And when you give 1 or 2 sentence outbursts of speech, it doesn't give us long enough to get a good read on you. So I need you to speak more. Even if you're just babbling incessantly about nothing, I need to hear you speak.
Are you asking me like about what I've done in this game that
I
makes
want
me
you to
town,
give
or do
me
you want to
all
know
of
my
your
town?
reads on everyone in town.
Okay, I guess I'll just go in order on my screen. Neil, I don't know about you. I've said this in games before that I'm very bad at reading you. I did happen to read you correctly in the one game based on a visual tell, and I got lucky that you did that because otherwise I had no idea on you in that game either. So I don't know. Eric, I'm feeling pretty good about him being town. He's been very active today, and he seems to care about what he's doing, trying to solve the game, doing good things. Tim, I don't know. I felt like he's done things that have made him more Mafia, and like I said before, I don't think him and Ryan are both Mafia, and I'm starting to think now that Ryan is more likely to be town, which would leave Tim probably as Mafia. Cable, I think he's town. He just seems. I don't have good explanations for these, but when he's been talking, he seems like he's town. Ryan is starting to behave more like how I expect him to behave when he's town. I just don't have good explanations for a lot of things in this game right now. Cameron hasn't done anything really. I suppose he would be my number one lunch at this point.
Well, okay.
Hold
I'd
on,
like to
hold
just
on.
interrupt.
Is
While,
that
no,
everyone?
while I believe that Keith is being very ambiguous, I also believe that Neil is like significantly stalling and he's like redirecting very heavily.
Can I
So
can I
just
just
don't like
point
that.
out? I'm actually going to point something out. Neil went on a big rant about how he didn't agree with Rybo's method of getting me to like slip up and say that I'm Mafia by asking me what I've done for town, and then Neil immediately like went off and asked, "Hey, Keith, what have you done for town?"
Same
I
question,
agree with
different
you,
objective.
I mean-
I was not looking for the words of his answer. I was just wanting to get him to talk. I didn't give a shit what he was talking
I
about.
mean, that's
It was just.
kind of what Rybo was saying when he asked me that. Like,
I felt like Rybo was
wanted me
looking
to
for a
talk.
specific answer. Like Rybo was looking for you to try and prove yourself with your commentary. I was just trying to get Keith to say anything at all.
In my opinion,
Mhm.
when there's a confirmed townie in Storzerg that's dead, and only 2 people did not vote for them, you have to heavily lean on them as town.
I'm not opposed to that, but I wasn't happy to,
think
not examine Keith. I think Keith's defense or discussion was absolutely fucking useless. But I still agree that the other things that we said earlier still stand. Like I don't think he's Mafia, but
So
I still want to hear it out of him.
Keith, to me, doesn't seem like the type of dude who just starts babbling and then fucks up. He seems like a very calculated individual who likes to go on logic. But regardless of that, I think going on Keith or Eric is somewhat a waste of our time and resources. We should be looking at the other people.
I said I just wanted 5 minutes. We had 5 minutes on him. I'm satisfied.
Yet to say anything about
Speaking
me,
of time,
so I'm
it's
interested
been-
to hear what he has to say about me.
Just saying, speaking of time, it's already been almost an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is
Um,
Lilo, so it's not
Well,
day
every
3.
round is going to be Lilo from here on out. If we.
Yeah.
Well, I know. I'm just saying we're taking a lot more time this day because we don't have a third day if we miss. That's all.
Rybo.
I apologize, Mod, in chat for that.
Raibu, I got a strong town read on you at the very start of the game. I believe I talked about that at the time. You haven't really done anything to change my mind on it, although you've been a little bit more quiet today, but I think it's still okay.
All right, I'm gonna try something here. So if we want to pseudo clear Keith, Eric, and Rybo,
I'm not ready to pseudo clear Rybo.
okay, whatever. Whatever.
Just go on with your plan. Let's hear it.
All right, so if we want to pseudo clear Keith, Eric, and Rybo, that leaves me, Neil, Ryan, Cameron, and Cable. Like, I feel like we should just do top 2. Like, we should just start crossing people off the list because I don't feel like we're getting anywhere.
I agree with Tim, even though I still think he's coming. I agree with him.
No, I just want to hear top 1 from everybody.
Yeah, top 1.
Gilbert. Cameron.
Hang on. Let me write this down.
Yeah, let's all write this down.
Just 1. Neil, 1.
I told you, Cameron.
Cameron.
Yeah.
Cameron.
Tim.
Oh, shit. Ryan.
Cable.
Are we doing the top 1?
Top
Yeah,
one.
just Cable. Who do you want to kill right now if you're a Vigi?
Ryan.
Ryan. Tim, right?
Yes, Tim.
Okay. Cameron.
Table.
Raibo.
Cameron.
Keith.
Cameron.
Eric.
Ryan.
So
Okay, well,
is that
Tied up.
no
Ryan and
Neil.
Cameron.
So Neil's in the circle, even though he's like my second. But
I'm
We're
not
gonna do this.
anyone's number one kill anymore? Lovely. Was
I'd
that
like
3
to
for
back
Cameron, 3 for Ryan?
yeah.
1 for Tim, 1 for Cable?
So do we want to go Ryan and Cameron right now, or like I know that's super risky, but
We
I
can
don't
only
know.
lynch one, right?
Yeah, I know. What I'm saying is that means we're gonna dedicate. I don't want to say go like gangbusters here, but we're gonna dedicate a significant amount of resources deciding between Ryan and Cameron at the moment.
So I
Right.
think
Well, no,
I
let's
think that-
redo the same thing with just Ryan and no. Never mind,
Yeah,
never
that's
mind.
what I'm saying. Is like, well, let's not take anyone off the table, but it looks like Ryan and Cameron on the chopping
Look,
block.
honestly, there's 3 Mafia. Mafia are unlikely to bust other Mafia at this point. So
That's true.
towns are likely to have a lot of votes right now.
And if you ask Ryan and Cameron again who they'd vote for,
You're gonna go
if
the
it's just
opposite.
them two, they're going to vote for the other one because they're the only ones that didn't vote for each other.
Well, then don't let them vote. Or they
Yeah.
votes cancel each other out, so it doesn't even matter.
Right. So I'm just saying, like, it's basically 4-on-4 right now for either one.
Ryan,
Keith,
I would like to know why you think that I'm town in this game. Like, what's different between my play in this game compared to last game where I was Mafia?
it's not the biggest thing for me is not your play. Your play is relatively consistent, and so I feel like that's a weak indicator to go on for you. And so it's been your voting pattern and your defense of Storzerg that is leading me to believe that you're town more than anything.
You know, I defended Storzog really hard on Monday too when he was town and people were suspicious of him.
Well, Storzerg was also being fucking crazy that day, and he was being very laid back today.
All right. So I don't want to throw this off plans, but I mean,
When there's a voting pattern and there's only 2 people that didn't vote, and then they're confirmed town, it seems very, very likely that the people that didn't vote are town.
Well, I've not voted for someone that was being voted
so
for
if we're gonna do
overwhelmingly as
that,
Mafia in the past.
if we're gonna base it off votes, I voted twice and Tim voted twice. So we can either go by the numbers if we want to go by votes, or we can kill suspicion, which is you and Cameron.
So I don't know. I really don't like Tim. I feel like Tim is trying to push this along between myself and Cameron. I think Tim's Mafia. I don't like when he looked into the camera. I don't like the fact that the 4 people that he had on his list are almost dead, or all dead except for 1.
What list?
Tim's versus list on day 1.
I
Unctuous
wasn't
Raibo.
paying attention for that. Could you repeat it for me?
Unctuous, Raibo, Phil, and Store.
And what was this list about? Just the shit list?
The
The
versus
shit.
list from Tim on day 1.
The
Tim's reads on who he thought were scummy.
Subscribe, vote, Tim, Store.
See, Tim's
Tim, you voted on Store. Okay. I mean,
he
we all
also
voted on
voted on
Store,
you.
but yeah, he
He
did vote
voted
on me.
you. Therefore, if we're gonna, that's why I said we're either gonna go based off of reads or we're gonna go based off of numbers. And I'm a firm believer. I mean, I personally like reads. However, they're a lot. I don't know. They're not usually as good as numbers. So I'm either on Tim and Cameron, and Ryan's my third.
So I mean, I'm sorry, but like the strongest route I have is it just feels like a Ryan game. It just feels so much like a Ryan game, and that's
Yeah, and do you know how often you say that? Almost every game. If I'm still alive, you say that almost every game.
the last time it was right, dude. And then I just don't
Because
want
I happen to be Mafia.
That's just how we're like Ghost Claw's Mafia every time, and then he just happens to be Mafia every fucking time.
Hey, Eric, what are your thoughts, man? I haven't heard from you for a while.
I'm pretty sure that either Ryan or Cameron, one of them's Mafia.
You
Like
think both of them are
almost
Mafia?
could be. They could very well be, and it's pointing to based on what we're seeing. Like there's strong support for Ryan being Mafia. There's strong support for Cable being Mafia, or for Cameron being Mafia, and those two name somebody completely different.
Yeah. All right. I mean, as much as I don't want to be wrong, I think we got to
Ryan
move
has
here.
never actually said, "I think Cameron's super suspicious." Yet,
So ask yourself this, Eric: am I the type of person to go with the grain usually, or to go against the grain? I'm usually the type of person.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you'd go against the grain. That's fine. But how do you not think Cameron is not suspicious right now?
I think Cameron is suspicious. He's my number 3.
There's no number 3.
I understand that this. Okay, well, you have to rank, right?
I agree with Ryan on that.
So I have to go with who I think is the most Mafia and push hard for that lynch because it's Lilo, and the person that I think is Mafia, I have to go after with conviction. There's lots of people that are suspicious. It's the game of Mafia. That's how it is.
There's a cop sitting with 2 town checks right now. I'm gonna be so pissed.
Yeah, I agree. All right, I'd like to formal Cameron.
I'll second it.
We didn't do the votes, but we can do that.
What votes?
You said that we're okay. Are we not going to do the number top?
Everyone
one?
except for
we
Ryan
did.
and Cameron voted for Ryan or Cameron.
Yeah.
So either one of them are gonna vote for each other. So it's gonna be the same
It's gonna
shit.
be the same thing.
Okay, well, out of the 2, I'm okay with killing Cameron.
So am I.
All right, so Cameron, what's your defense?
I mean, first off, like, I think that I've said a lot already the last couple times I've been accused. I know that I haven't really had the best play. I guess I tried to be pro town, and when I came out, it just came out at a time that made me feel suspicious because I was a little overeager with it, and at a time when it wasn't really like profit. It wasn't really like asked for. But that's just me trying to get more involved in the game, and I'm town, and if you kill me, obviously the game is over. But I know that me saying that right now isn't going to convince you that I'm not Mafia. I do think it's a little odd that you called that Cable that you called for the formal right now. I picked you as my number 1 when they went around because as soon as we came back from break, basically, as soon as we came back from night 1, you went on me and went on me pretty hard. Like you yelled me down as soon as we got back from break, and that was before the thing that made everyone else suspicious of me. And I didn't understand where that was coming from because you accused me of not talking when I was paying attention, and I talked about equal with as much as you did on day 1. And
I don't remember
like,
yelling you down, and if I did, I apologize for yelling.
yeah,
It's not called for.
you went really like intense on me as soon as we got back from break, basically.
Intense and yelling are different, but if I did yell, I apologize.
I wasn't offended or anything. I just I was taken aback because I didn't expect such a impassioned attack on my town integrity right back from break when I thought that there were plenty of other things to talk about at that time. And since then, like everybody has like mentioned that you're like a little scummy and that they put you in the 5, but it keeps getting deflected off. Like we haven't talked about you at all. Like it's always been Ryan and Cameron, and then we had like the big bit where everybody thought it was Neil, and then nobody thought it was Neil after that. And we had our little diversion where we talked about Keith for a little bit, and we've gone over about how Eric and Rybo are probably safe, but we have not really talked about you at all, despite the fact that everyone agreeing that, yeah, you could probably be Mafia. And then you're the one who calls the formal on me while we're still discussing. And that immediately puts an end to it. And then Rybo is like, yeah, I'd kill Cameron. And we just get going. It felt like it was a really good time for me to call the formal if you're trying to make sure that nobody turns it around onto you. So I'd
like to just briefly prosecute. You're number 3 on my Mafia list, which to me tells I think you're Mafia, and a lot of other people think that you're number 1 or number 2 on their Mafia list. So 1, 2, or 3 on Mafia is still Mafia. I agree with you that no one's talked about me, but that, in my opinion, is because the one most town read that anybody has in this game has said that he doesn't believe that I'm Mafia. So if you're looking for an explanation there, I think that's why. So for me, I kind of like, we're at an hour and 5 minutes. I don't want to lose the game, but I also like want to win the game. I want a game to eventually, be won. So that's why you're number 3 on my list, and you're number 1 or 2 on a lot of other people's lists. And to me, that tells me that
Who are your 1
you're
and 2?
most likely Mafia.
Who are your 1 and 2?
I said earlier, Ryan and Neil.
Oh, sorry. Okay. But
yet
if
you
there
wanna
were an equal people calling for Ryan and calling for me,
I agree.
form with me.
Yes. That's exactly
Who's the most town person that thinks that you're town?
Keith. He's the one that a lot of people have kind of agreed are.
Keith thinks
mostly
everyone's town. Keith, who do
He's
you
been
think
very
is Mafia?
ambiguous. He's been very ambiguous about a lot of people, but he's specifically said he doesn't believe that I'm Mafia. So I'm just saying that's why no one has talked about me in my personal opinion.
Here's the problem. If you think that Ryan is your number 1 Mafia,
Right.
and Ryan is the other one that's on the chopping block right now, and you're quick to formal the other guy,
Yeah,
that's really fucking suspicious.
I can't. I don't like that.
Suspicious or not, I'm telling you the reasons and the numbers.
Yeah, but your reasons don't make sense.
They
That's
don't
why
make sense
I'm
that
calling you out.
I want to win this game and I want to vote a Mafia off tonight.
Well, we all want to
so-
win the game, but for
No,
different.
no, Caleb. What you just said was, I think Ryan is more suspicious than Cameron. Ryan's in your 1 and 2, but
And you want to
still-
win the game.
and you want to win the game, of course.
No, he's not even 2. He's number 3.
Hold on, let him talk.
Cameron's
Let him
number-
let Shindig talk.
Sorry.
No, he's right, Eric.
I'm agreeing with you, Eric. I'm saying
Yeah, I know.
Cameron is his number 3, and then he formals Cameron over Ryan, who's on the chopping block for us. Like that. If this is a real formal in your town, like you kind of messed. And I don't mean to be mean, but like it kind of throws me for a loop here.
It might throw you for a loop, but
for
I
me?
didn't mess up. Like a lot of people think that Ryan or that Cameron is Mafia, and so he's 1, 2, and
Equal.
3 in my list. So any of the 3 can go for me, and I will be happy.
And-
This
an
game will
equal
continue.
number of
We'll have
people
another
think-
round.
An equal number of people think that me and Ryan are their number 1 Mafia, and yet,
So I'm the
You're-
one. To
I'm not your
acquiesce
number
and
1,
try
but
to
you
make this
picked-
happen.
but
I want this to happen. I want like the next round to go, and for me to make this next round go is to vote one of the
What-
Mafia off.
what it
And
feels
I
like
agree
to
that
me,
you are on the Mafia.
what it feels like to me is that the air, as we finished that last conversation, was that people were feeling pretty good about lynching me, and then you say, "Let's lynch Cameron."
Yes,
and
that's
if
exactly
I hadn't-
right.
So, if you are trying to make sure that you're never brought up and that you can skate out of this, that's the perfect time for you to call a formal
I
on me.
don't care if people bring me up. That's not the point. Like, if people want to talk about me, then they can talk about me, but they haven't. And you specifically pointed that
And
out.
then, yeah,
but they've
and-
talked about you a lot. So, number 3
Yeah, they
on my
have,
list
and they should
is
talk about
Cameron.
you.
He's on the Mafia. A lot of people think he's on the Mafia. Let's go on a Mafia member, and let's go to the next one.
Would you support? I want to change the formal to Ryan. Would you do that?
Can I
Yes.
say something real quick?
Go for it.
So during Cameron's entire formal defense, all I was doing was watching Tim and listening to Cameron. Tim looked like he was looking at a second monitor the entire time, covering his face and completely disinterested. The only time
That's the exact same thing.
yeah, okay. The only time that he looked back into the conversation is when Cable started talking and Cable started fucking up, and then he became interested. But while Cameron was giving his defense, he looked like he didn't give a shit. It seems really scummy to me. Like
I might agree with that. That sounds scummy, but I just don't want this to get all delayed and side skirted from you or Cameron.
Or at
Him
Lilo,
as
like
number
it's
4 on my
never
list.
more
of course you
important.
don't want. Of course you don't want it from us too.
Yeah, we're at
All right,
Lilo.
well, I've made
like,
my prosecution.
everything is important.
I've said what I want to say, and I don't think I've messed up. I don't think I've done anything wrong. I've told you exactly straightforward, exactly what my thoughts and opinions are. So Eric, to answer your question, if you want to switch the formal onto Ryan, I will go with you because Ryan is my number 1. So if he's on the Mafia and he's going to go tonight, let's do that.
So Ryan, what are you saying? Like Tim was only interested when Cable was talking. What are you implying that like Tim and Cable are town Mafia together? I don't get the connection.
Not necessarily, but Tim looks like the type of person who, like, if you're uninterested, it reads Mafia.
Yeah, you were busting my chops for that earlier today.
I want to hear what Keith has to say.
Actually, I want to ask if this can be resended just so I can talk about some other stuff for a minute.
I'm uncomfortable rescinding it, but I'll rescind it so you can talk. And if you're done and nothing else comes up, I'm reformaling.
Okay, I just want to say that I had the exact same observation as Ryan, that Tim seemed to be paying no attention and not caring at all. Also, I got kind of the same thing from Neil. And at this point, the three people I would lunch are those three people,
Yeah.
Neil, Tim, and Cameron.
Are you sure that Ryan is town?
Not 100% sure, but that's what I would go with right now.
What
Yeah,
percentage?
I wasn't paying attention when Cameron was talking because I'm ready to kill him, and I don't think that he's going to be able to change my mind. So I took that as an opportunity to take care of other stuff. When Caleb started talking, then it's like, oh, wait a minute. This isn't a person that I'm used to hearing from. Now it's interesting again.
Exactly.
Oh my God, so many bad town.
So many bad town. Yes, you've never not paid attention during someone's formal when you were ready to kill them. You've never like gotten up and walked out to get some water. When you're like, oh, this guy's fucking Mafia. Let him defend himself.
All right, so
I'll come back for the vote.
No. Let's take this into perspective then.
Sorry, you look like Unctuous. He does that all the time.
Okay, so based off of Keith and Ryan's reads, they are now switching the topic from Cameron, possibly, into Neil and Tim, right?
No, I'm saying
Hold on. I'm not. Let me finish. Based off of that, Ryan, are you saying that Tim and Neil are Mafia? And if so, is the third Cameron? Or is it Cameron?
Okay, I think you're drawing incorrect results. Keith was the one who said he also saw Neil doing that. I didn't say that. What I'm saying is...
No.
What?
Go ahead.
Are you
I was just... Right.
I feel like you misunderstood what was said from who. I have only been going on Tim. I have one person who I think is the most scummy, and that's who I want to lynch.
And you think it's Tim, and Keith thinks it's Tim. That's what I was trying to confirm.
I want to take it day by day.
Okay.
Tim, for me, is who I think is the most scummy. I think Tim is Mafia.
Ribo, do you think that Ryan is town? Or would you be willing to believe him that he's town?
All right, so this is my problem with Ryan, and it sucks because it's not going to draw to a huge conclusion. Remember how earlier in the day and as of yesterday, I said that Ryan keeps deflecting off Cameron? Like, it just happened again. And I don't like it when I think Cameron's a good kill. I'm not sure. I'm just not sure how to take Ryan.
Everyone has been deflecting off of everyone this entire game.
As
soon as I started talking about Keith, Tim jumped in and started deflecting off Keith.
But don't forget, my Mafia circle was Ryan, Cameron, and either Cable or Tim.
Tim's in my Mafia circle, and when I talked about Keith, Tim immediately deflected off Keith, and so did Eric.
I want to explain something. So earlier, Cable talked. Let me explain something. Cable earlier said, I'm comfortable lynching any of the three people I think are Mafia. I'm not like that. I am only comfortable in lynching who I think is the most scummy person in a Lilo situation. And because of that, the only person I want to look at is who I think is the biggest scum read.
I think I agree. I like your read, and I respect the fact that you want to stay on the top number one person. And I generally agree with your play, but that doesn't take my suspicion off of you. So I don't know. I'm not seeing anything that's like really gaining us any additional ground. So I'd like to reformal Cameron. I rescinded it and said I wanted to reformal if we didn't get anywhere.
Can I just say that this happened again? We all fucking I say a thing about Cable that everyone agrees is weird and suspicious, and then a minute later, everybody forgets about him. This has happened multiple times throughout the game, and it's kind of driving me nuts.
So
I'm suspicious. I'm getting
to it. I just want to ask Ryan a question. So if Tim is Mafia, who are his allies? I can't make a connection with two other people right now to Tim.
I feel
if I'm going to start doing that, it's going to be including people like Keith and Ribo, which I don't want to think about right now.
So
Neil and Tim, yeah, I see a connection there, buddy.
Here's what I think.
Only a small one, but
I think connections are tough to draw because there are Mafia who bust other Mafia and there are Mafia who defend other Mafia. And so because you could do either, I like to take it person by person instead of necessarily drawing a mafia circle unless I'm very certain of it.
Okay, did anybody second my formal of Cameron?
No.
I did.
Keith did. All right, so formal's on Cameron again.
And my defense is this formal is just continuing to deflect off the fact that something everyone agreed was weird and horrible town play and made no sense. And now we're back to talking about me. This is how this entire second day has gone.
Okay, well, they say a traitor or a rebel is determined after the war is over. So
What the fuck does that mean?
think about it. Anyways, the idea is that if everybody wants to talk about me, let's talk about me next round, and let's get to that next round because we're an hour and 16 minutes into round 2.
Yeah, I'm
So-
ready to just.
Speaking
Can we?
of time, it is very, very far into day 2. You guys need to do a lynch. Like,
If we
Yeah. Here, why don't we do
Okay.
this?
Lilo,
I think
like,
that
we can't
let's
do that.
Lilo, but I think that let's take a look at seconds. Okay, ignoring Cameron and Ryan. Does anyone who think Cameron is their first, would Ryan be their second? No. Does anyone who think Ryan is their first, Cameron would be their second? No. Well, shit, that didn't get anywhere. Never mind.
Why not Eric?
Okay, I just want to say something because we are getting.
Wait, did I
towards the
say
end of
Eric?
the
I
day.
meant don't. Cameron and Ryan don't.
No,
talk.
no. Eric said I want to put it on Ryan earlier.
So
That
I'm
means that
starting to
Neil's
believe
question
Cameron.
was about Cameron. Neil's question was about Cameron, but now all of a sudden it's not about Cameron anymore. So Eric, go ahead.
I'm starting to believe Cameron, which puts me in a weird position of something like a Neil Tim Cable thing. I don't know.
Why not
I
Ryan
just-
anymore? Eric, why not Ryan anymore?
Well, because I don't think Ryan plays the way that would bust somebody in 2KP. I think he'd go for the win, but that's just me. And he hasn't been going after Cable or after Cameron enough for me to have a connection there. So
Phil's gonna jump in for a second while I go take a piss.
Okay, so I want to say I don't like the way that this lynch is getting pushed through. I especially don't like that Cable is the one formaling since he's my second scummy and he's saying, let's just get this done. I really don't like that. He's number 2 on my scum list right behind Tim. I just
Same here.
the way that this is going.
And I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why. During this whole day, Cable's been. I don't like to use the word grasp, but when suspicions are brought up on somebody, he's immediately goes to, okay, Ryan, what are your thoughts about that? Or Eric, what are your thoughts about that? Like trying to reach for, I guess, information, but it never draws suspicion to himself. So it is a little suspicious. And the fact that he tried to end the game, generally, Mafia is going to try to end the game late. Not Miss and Townie.
I mean, to his point, like, if we want to go back to like the simplest kind of read was going to give us the kill, like Cameron has been on our shit list all day in day 2. But I want to affirm your point, Rybo, and agree with you because Cable was, like I said, if anyone remembers, Cable was on my top shit list day 1 because of this very same reason. Like, it feels like he is reaching for things to pin guilt on people. Now,
Phil,
this
why
makes
is your
me
camera
uneasy.
was he? Was he on your top
He was,
shit list?
all right,
Yes.
check this out too. He
Hold
also
on.
was second formal on, was it Storzerg, right?
I was first on Storzerg.
I could be
It was
wrong,
second
but
on-
I don't have
seconded
written down
somebody.
on
I
the-
seconded
on Tim's
Neil.
shit list.
All right, so he first Storzerg and seconded Neil.
Correct.
I thought you said everybody that Tim
And then
thought
he
was shit list was everybody including Rybo that's already dead. Like
I want to say on the shit list that I looked in my notes, Tim does not have Cable on his shit list.
I
yeah, I
have
don't
Cable
remember that at all.
I have Cable circled profusely, but I.
Well, then why didn't you name him when you said that these are the people that I'd like to kill?
Let's see that big old circle. I'm just kidding. Don't do it. Don't do
All
it.
right, no. I mean, like, so I said Ryan because that's who I felt like today. So
What I'm saying is,
I'm
day
gonna- I'm
1
gonna
you
call
didn't have
formal on
Cable.
Cable.
The formal's
I put
on
more- yeah, I
Cameron.
put-
I haven't rescinded
Fine.
the formal.
Go ahead. Don't rescind it. Let's vote.
I think we should vote. I think
All right.
Cameron's a good kill. I
Okay.
think if we kill him, we're gonna be fine.
Do not vote to kill Cameron.
Don't.
We are voting on Cameron.
Or not vote.
And if you want to vote, please put your hand over your
Oh,
camera.
yeah, if you wanna
We
vote,
are
yeah.
voting in 3,
Look at Tim.
Two.
He wants to win.
1. Please vote. 1, 2, 3. That's not enough. Cameron's alive for the
Can't
day.
believe you guys did that.
Okay, here, if we let's just form a Cable.
Okay,
and
wait,
move on.
before we do that, there were 3 votes. Mafia could have pushed it over, right? If he were town.
Who were the votes again? It was Neil, Keith, and Cable.
Tim, why didn't you vote?
Yeah.
Near the end of that, I'm really getting sketch on Cable. Like the more I think about him, okay, I mean I'm still sketch on Ryan, but the more I think about him, like the biggest hesitation I had from the Cameron vote when I was going to vote was the fact that Cable did it and he did it in the rush manner, and he did like we outlined before. If we narrowed it down to Ryan and Cameron and he formals Cameron, that does not sit well with me. And over time, that just like that couldn't go away. And then like the stuff you were saying right before we voted, like I just couldn't vote. Like I couldn't do it.
So let me say something, just logistically. One more vote would have passed that. So either we fucked up and Cameron is Mafia, or everybody voted that was Mafia, or somebody just didn't play by the rules.
One more
There are
vote
8
wouldn't
players
have passed
alive.
it.
You need 5 players to lose somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not
Wait,
another
what?
vote would have passed.
Yeah, we only had 3, and I think it takes 5 right now, right? 'Cause we
Yeah,
have
yeah,
eight.
you're right.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. All right.
My read on the situation is that Tim and Cameron are Mafia, and then Tim ended up not voting on it because he heard other people encouraging people not to vote. That's what I think about it.
You think Tim? I mean, Tim's second on my list. I'm happy to kill Tim too.
I would say Tim and Cable are the 2 on highest on my list at this
Like,
point.
Well, do we want to redo the thing that Eric had us do earlier, where we call out our first lynches? Because now that Cameron can't be lynched, that
Sure.
might change heavily in favor of one person or another.
I don't want to.
I don't think we should because we got nothing from it the first time.
I don't know. We narrowed it down. Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't
Can
think
I get a
people.
second?
Oh,
What did you
follow
say?
me?
I'm trying to formal Tim. I want
I
someone to
second.
second.
I second.
Okay, I mean,
Formal on Tim.
I didn't vote on Cameron because of just what Cable did. Like, I can't shake it. I'm sorry. That's like the one reason that I'm grasping on, and I can't let go of it. So don't kill me. I'm town. Like,
So are you saying that you are suspicious of people who grasp, and now you're grasping?
I'm not grasping on anyone. I'm only grasping on.
No, you just said you just literally used the word grasp.
Well, you're grasping my grasp. So if you want to play the meta here, I'm just saying. Look, I know it's a messed up thing. Don't vote me. I mean, I just couldn't vote on that last one. I'm sorry. Don't vote me. I'm gonna make it short. It's been a long day. Do not vote me. You will lose.
It frustrates me that you didn't vote at the very last second there. Like, you were number 4 on my list, but that really frustrates me.
It frustrates me how much pressure you're putting on Tim.
Yeah.
It frustrates me how much pressure Cable's putting on Tim.
We talked
Frustrates
about
me how Cable's got this list of like 20 mafias, and he's never
Totally
voted.
I told you
Cable,
exactly
bro.
which mafias are on my list.
we talked
Formal,
about
second formal, vote. Formal.
Yeah, like you just want to kill somebody,
Second,
anybody. Like,
fourth formal. Fourth
we
formal.
talked about low hanging fruit earlier in the game, and like I'm obviously like the lowest hanging fruit in most games when the game gets late because I tend to make mistakes and put myself in a position where I look really suspicious. So
Look, is
like,
this about Tim?
Yeah, exactly.
This doesn't need to be said right now.
Okay. I mean, I'm a lot harder on Cable than Tim, so.
Just vote, but don't vote me. I don't think the vote's gonna pass. But
Anything else for or against Tim?
I don't know.
Okay.
Tim has been the
I
second
think
on
Tim
my
is
list.
Mafia.
I can't watch. Don't vote for me.
Tim,
I don't wanna lose. I
look,
don't
if you're
wanna
not Mafia, I need you to fucking convince me. Don't just sit back there and say don't vote. Do your job as town. Convince me that you're not Mafia.
It's Cable. It's absolutely Cable. Like I don't feel like I've done anything super scummy in this game.
But you
Right.
have, but Cable hasn't done anything super scummy either.
Absolutely has.
Yes, he has.
Not as much as I feel like
No,
Cable's
dude.
done as
Don't
much
vote on
scummy shit
Tim.
as Tim
Vote on
has.
Cable.
so
All I did was
why did you change from Ryan being your number 1? Just now.
I feel like I can't sway the votes. I feel like I can't sway the votes, and Cable's is a target. Like that's what it's gonna be. Like
So
he
then
has
you're
more
doing
odds.
exactly what you accused me of
Here's
doing.
the thing, Eric. Like, there's much more hard evidence against Cable for me right now than Ryan. So if I told you guys, let's kill Ryan, and my biggest piece of evidence is that this feels like a Ryan game. The first thing that's going to happen is Ryan's going to say, "That's what you say every game, Tim, and you're going to be wrong in this game, and I'm going to laugh in your face when you're wrong." And people will believe him, and that's fine, whether he's Mafia or not. I totally respect him for trying to do that. Second of all, if I go on Cable, I have very hard gameplay evidence that it's him, and I have him circled on my list from day one and he's doing the same thing he's doing game one that makes me suspicious on him. So, I mean, that's what it's got to be. I mean, like, Cable didn't do anything to warrant that when we're going around the first time, and now he has. So,
Who voted for Cameron?
Me,
I
Neil,
vote
and
Cable,
Tim.
Keith, and Neil.
and that's what this is the other thing I want to add on is that those votes make me really
That's your
uncomfortable
Mafia.
because that means, like, logically, I want to say those people are Mafia, but they can't be. Like, that it just feels too weird.
Why can't they be?
I mean, we did talk about how Keith had been like getting away with like not being talked about earlier, and like people feel like he's town, but like he's never been like anyone's like #1 town read like Eric was. I don't know. I feel really bad, like really hard on Cable, but like I could go either way on Keith right now, and Neil.
Keith,
Okay,
Why
look,
are we-
Eric and
why-
Keith,
why are
you're
we-
my two strongest town reads in this right now. Do you not see like this deflection that keeps going on? Like they keep trying to deflect it.
There's a formal on Tim, guys.
Yeah, keep it on Tim.
Agreed.
Look, I'm town. If you vote for me, you will lose. I don't want you to vote for me. I'm not gonna sit back. Like, I'm trying to be straightforward with it, so you're reading town off of it. Like, if I was like, I don't know what I can do. Either I can go hard in defending I'm town, or just be like straight up, I am town. If you vote for me, I will lose, and that's what I'm trying to do. Like, don't do it.
Anything else for or against Tim?
I think Tim is Mafia.
Mm-mm.
Going to a vote in 3, 2, 1. Vote. 3 votes. Vote does not pass. I'm going to give you guys one more.
Okay, I
Neil, we're screwed,
formal
dude.
Cable. And this is my reasoning. He has been a part of every single formal, first or second formal, including the end. I think Neil. If I had to guess my 3 Mafia at this point, I know it's completely changing originally, but I'm going Cable, Keith, and Neil. And I'm not 100% convinced on Tim, but I think Cable is the best kill. And I'm doing it strictly off math and strictly off him trying to win the game, pressuring, and along with.
Did anybody second that?
God,
I will second as
Thank you.
Tim is dead, as Tim is not allowed to be voted anymore. I think Cable is the next best vote.
All right, let's do it. I'm not rescinding, so.
Formal on Cable. Cable, formal defense.
I've stuck with the same story. I haven't changed anything. Whether you think that it's up or down, like I've been pressuring people because I have strong reads against them. I have the top 3 Mafia that I originally thought were Ryan, Neil, and Cameron. Tim was number 4 on my list as a maybe. So I wanted to pressure them. This is only round 2, right? Storzerg, I was wrong about. And the only person to actually call me out on that was Keith. And so now I believe Keith because he was trying to defend Storzerg the whole time. So now I was suspicious of Keith in round 1, I now am on Keith's side, and he's one of my strongest town reads. Eric is my second strongest town read. So, like, Rybo, you were accusing me from the very beginning. I don't really have a read on you, to be fair, but would it be smart of me as a Mafia to really push every single formal and to second every single formal? Would that be a strong play, or does that draw suspicion to me as Mafia? Like,
All
you
you
don't
need
think
is
that I would
two
think
towns.
about that?
All you need
I'm
is
using-
2 town at this point to jump with you.
What's
I mean,
that?
All you need is 2 town to jump with you. Like, it makes sense
All
as
I
a
need
Mafia
is
player.
4 other towns to jump with me so that we can actually get a Mafia off.
So
Like, this is a
what
very
I'm getting
difficult
at is-
task right now.
what
And
I'm
I'll be
getting at
totally
is-
honest that an hour and a half is like, I'm kind of getting over this round. So whether or not you see that as me pushing it or not, like, I'm just being honest with you. Like, hour and a half is really long for a round, and I don't like playing 3-hour rounds or whatever. So I want to get to the next round, and I want to like push the Mafia the next round. So that's my defense. I'm done.
Anything else for or against Cable?
I'd like to say something against Cable. So when I saw Tim doing that thing about not paying attention to Cameron, he only perked up when Cable started talking. It would make sense if they happen to both be Mafia together. Also, I really don't like the way that Cable has been pushing votes, and he is my second best choice for tonight.
So,
Eric, I need your opinion on this.
his defense seems good. He's pushing formals, which is a actual pro Mafia move because there's a list of 5 people, and he's just when one's done, he goes to the next one. And so, like, either he's willing to take the entire shoulder load of the town on his back, which I don't think he's prepared for at this point, or he has inside information.
Go,
I
Keith.
don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, this is a clusterfuck. Like, I have nothing right now.
Dude, we have no. Go ahead, Keith.
Okay, I just want to say that basically we had agreed it was between Ryan and Cameron today. At the time that Cable formaled Cameron and people didn't like that. Ryan, if you're town, you should recognize that it's impossible for him to be like trying to protect you as Mafia, because I feel like that's what people are saying. Like he was trying
Who was
to
trying to protect me?
when Cable formaled Cameron. When
No, I know, but
people
you said him. I didn't know if you were talking about Cable or Cameron trying to defend me.
I think people's theory was that he was trying to protect you.
Now,
like,
who is the he in that sentence?
Cable.
Cable. Okay.
So if you're town, you have to realize that that's impossible, and that theory doesn't make sense.
No, the theory, at least what I said, I'm not defending anyone, but it was my theory originally, so I feel like I should come out and say something. The reason why I brought that up and drove the discussion that way was not because I felt like he was protecting Ryan. It was because I felt like he was trying to rush the game to get over before someone brought him up. Because people had brought up you, Keith, and people had brought up everyone else, and we had all these discussions about everyone else in the game up to that point, and then we had focused in on me and Ryan, and then like after like the mood is sort of starting to settle towards maybe you were probably gonna lynch me. Cable is like, I formal Cameron, and then he goes and says that I was his third, and the whole thing just felt really weird.
I haven't changed my story at all. Like I've kept, and when anybody asks me, I've kept exactly the same story.
Yeah, and your story doesn't make sense.
Unless you're Mafia, and then it does make sense.
Anything else for or against Cable?
I sometimes play Mafia like a racehorse. I put on blinders and go after one or two people. My first pick was Cameron. My second pick was Tim, but Tim's defense swayed me, and I really don't know how to feel about Cable right now. And we need to kill someone, and we need to kill fucking Mafia, but I don't know how to vote on this guy.
Numbers don't lie.
Should we go to sleep?
No, sleep will kill us.
No, sleep is
Yeah,
death.
we die then.
No.
There's 8
Sleep's
of us.
not death.
Sleep is death.
No, it's not.
There's 8
Yes, it
people
is.
left in the game. Mafia has 2 kill power. That'd bring it down to 6. That'd be 3 town, 3
Yeah.
Mafia. Game over.
Oh, I'm counting Baltian. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't rescind. Let's vote. I mean,
Nothing else for or against. We're going to vote.
Oh no, this totally makes sense. Okay, because I'm. Yeah. Okay. No. I got it. We're fine.
Wait, what?
No, wait. No. Never mind. Fuck. Hold on. Sorry.
Wait, what's going on with Neil? What are you saying?
No,
What
but
the
hold on,
fuck?
I had put you and Keith in my safe list, and I put Tim in my safe list, and I was like, oh, there's only 3 people left to pick from. I had forgotten about Ryuzil. I was gonna say we have to get him out. There are only 3. Never mind. I wasn't looking at not right. I wasn't looking at Rybo. I forgot about Rybo for a moment. Sorry. Ignore me.
Okay. He thought we're only picking between 3 people, and we.
I thought that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I had confirmed everyone else to be safe except for 3 people, and I've confirmed everyone else to be safe-ish except for 4 people, and so now I don't know whether it's Cable or Rybo. To me,
Let's just do it.
Okay.
Mod.
but if that's the case, then it's more Cable than Rybo. So
3, 2, 1, vote. Cable, you're dead. Everybody go to sleep.
Oh.
see,
Freaking day. Jesus, people. Can we try not to make it a hour and a half day tomorrow? Similar to undo night, people.
Mod, I'm gonna run a commercial.
Jesus, fucking run 5, why don't you? That was fucking forever. Can you guys get this game on the road?
I'm doing my best. We can only
That
run 3 minutes of
popcorn
commercials at most.
Our commercials over. That's my focus. Oh, Alan, you so silly. How much longer we got on commercials?
Shoutouts to
They just finished right now.
Okay. Everybody wake up. With the exception of we're missing one.
Yeah, we're missing.
Yeah, I know you're gonna say it's me, so go ahead.
No, it is not you actually. With the exception of Ribo Keith, Mafia wins.
Why do you do that?
Holla at me, baby.
Why did you drag it on?
Okay, you
Because
motherfuckers.
he needed because Neil needed some commercial time. Neil needed some commercial.
I didn't ask for that, guys. I didn't ask for that. He did that on his own accord. I ran commercials because he had us go to sleep.
Everything that you do for modding, except for that, like when Mafia wins, just let Mafia win. Like,
Yeah.
Hey, table.
Bragger.
Neil's Mafia, right?
Let me go over
That
rolls.
felt like a Ryu game, didn't it?
Bragger.
Neil Ryan, right? Neil Ryan?
Let me go over rolls.
Shut
Let me go over rolls.
the
Let me go
fuck
over
up.
rolls. Okay.
Oh my god.
Top was Phil.
Oh.
Vigi was Kimball. Mafia were Cameron, Ryuzilla, and Neil.
I'm so tired of Kimball's like day one shot being reinforced.
Hey guys, how did my vote logic make sense?
You guys had it, and I had to defend Cameron so hard that it made it look like that we both weren't Mafia.
Yeah,
Dude,
and I went
I-
after Cameron so hard, even though we were Mafia. So all of you guys saying there's no reason Mafia to go after Mafia, you're full of crap.
You know what?
Like,
Through the game.
Ryan deflected
early.
off of what's his name, Cameron, like 5 times, and I was like, God, but no, I didn't have the power. And
Neil
then,
messed up again, and you guys didn't notice.
What'd I say?
again. He said Storzerg was Mafia.
Neil was fumbling all over the place, so he's like, "Oh, just don't pay attention."
I actually
Yeah.
threw
He always slips up. You guys don't catch it.
I actually
Wait,
slipped
I
up in
said
the
Storzerg
first
was
minute
what?
of day one.
You said it was Mafia, even though there was 2 KP.
I slipped up in the
I didn't
first
say
minute of
Storzerg
day
was
one.
Mafia. I never said Storzerg was Mafia.
Yeah, you said it could have been Storzerg, Tim, and whatever.
Phil, what were your
Whatever.
comments?
Everyone
Neil
makes
off
small
day
mistakes
one.
that don't mean anything. You can't.
GG Town didn't vote Neil off day 1.
I told you guys that was a Mafia vote on Neil. I told you.
I voted.
And yet you didn't vote on
Okay, well,
Cameron,
we didn't
even
have
though
to
I voted
play
on
it.
Cameron. I thought everyone was going to vote on Cameron. I was just trying to get the day over with. I'd
You
given up
guys
hope.
understand my point now with the like a 3 or 4 vote that's typically Mafia and like a 11, 12 vote is
No,
in
I
town.
disagree because we voted on Cameron, and he was fucking Mafia, and I voted on him, and only 3 people voted, including me, who is Mafia.
it's different in
First
Do you
day,
remember
though.
that time? Do you remember that time that I was like, I'm getting these really creep vibes of MLG Ryan's not playing like how he usually does?
I thought you were cop, and I was like, Unctious must die tonight.
Holy shit! A
Unctious
wild
must
thunder
die.
toss appears.
Cheats.
I'm never listening to Ryan. Ryan's like, you're wrong. You always say that. You know what? I always say that, and now I'm 2 for fucking 2, so fuck it. That's
I hammered Cameron and
3
Ryan.
for 3?
in
That
the
makes a
whole
fucking
fucking
lie.
day.
Ryan, you said that thing about not respecting my Mafia play. I'm actually undefeated as Mafia.
I mean, I
But
tried that.
dude, we were Mafia together. I'll say whatever I want to
I
win
know,
the game.
right? Yeah.
Dude, Ryan deflected 7 times. God, 7.
Honestly,
I thought the game was.
Cable.
I thought the game was
Cable, if
fucking
you
over.
didn't say like any of that, that was so sketch
Yeah.
on me. Oh my god.
So-
Cable.
Tim, like you didn't believe any of the people were Mafia. Like the only person you thought was
Oh.
Ryan.
No.
I called all 3.
The problem is, like, I wanted to get a formal on Neil or Ryan, but I was just never gonna get the votes. Like,
Yeah,
nobody
that's
was
the
going
thing.
with.
I felt like no one was gonna vote for Ryan.
What,
Are
I
you
was,
fucking
so what
kidding
I
me?
was doing in my entire mind the whole time was like, the other one's got to be either Cameron or Cable, and I wasn't sold on Cameron.
At the start of
Fuck
day
that.
2, you could have killed me. When you first went hard on me on day 2, if you had called a vote right there, I would have been dead.
I
No
agree.
way,
I-
dude. Nobody
No,
was believing
Eric,
me.
Eric,
No,
I do
Neil,
think
you
if you would have pushed for a vote, that like if you would have actually called for a formal on either Ryan or Neil or whoever, like that
It
you would have
would've
been able
gone
to convince Town to do it.
It
I
would've gone
don't think
through.
so.
I think
played
you would
so
have.
poorly that game.
I don't think I would have convinced people to vote on Ryan. That's exactly what I said. I was like, I want to vote Ryan, but there's no way.
When you
Next
told us
time-
if I would switch
thought
the
Ryan was
formal to
sketchy.
Ryan,
Ryan,
I
how
would've
good
done
are my
that
reads
same.
on you, buddy? I told you. I
Dude,
got
I mean, you had me pegged, but the thing is like I just had to convince everybody else.
So
Dude,
I wanted
Ryan
to
is
go for the
unlynchable.
easy one, I
man.
guess. I don't
He's
know.
unlynchable.
What?
No, Ryan's
Dude,
gonna
but-
die.
I don't know
Right.
why he's unlynchable because I was like right there. I was like, dude, I was on top of that.
He's
I thought
actually
you were
never
caught, bro.
lynched.
I thought
He's
you were
never
caught.
lynched.
That's why I had you
That's
killed.
okay.
I was
Ryan's
like,
gonna die. Like he's gonna die by lynch the next like 6 games in a row.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm here
gonna be
now.
like-
Ryan ain't going
no,
past.
do you remember
turn
when
2,
I
buddy.
first started playing with you guys and I won a bunch of Mafia games and then I was first lynch like day
Yeah.
1 all the time?
I'm gonna be like, guys. this feels like
Who's your cop check, man? I want to know who you checked at night.
I checked Eric night 0 and I checked Neil night 1.
So you knew Neil was Mafia and you didn't get. Oh, but we
He
killed
died.
him.
He
You
got
killed
killed,
him.
So I want to talk about my night 0 Vigi kill because I actually don't like the meta, and I was not gonna do it because it's not good for Town. Like the odds just don't really. So, but I picked Alan because I think Dead Alan is good for Town.
Immediately told you you should have killed Cameron because he doesn't do anything. He's like Robbie. Like at least I do things. Like
What do you
come
do,
on, bro.
Alan? Tell me. I want to understand.
Come on.
Can you fucking relate to me?
Dude,
real
I tell
quick
you to
like that?
shut up. So shut up, Unc.
Hey Neil. Hey,
That's
I want
one
to go
thing.
back to day 2 real quick, guys. Like when I said I don't think Neil would kill a Mafia on a win situation. Like, what are your guys' thoughts on that? So he went after Cameron, right?
I
He
don't
went
ever
after
believe
Cameron,
that,
right? Like
dude.
right
I
off the
don't-
beginning.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't.
He extended the game if he kills Cameron.
I
I mean,
Tried to
Yeah, are
kill
you
anybody.
fucking kidding me? Because first off, I thought Cameron was acting super scummy. Everyone knew it. I am
Yeah,
so surprised
he
we didn't
was,
kill him.
yeah.
I went against
No, I'm
Cameron
getting your thoughts.
in
I don't-
order
I'm
to
not saying
kill
it's
him.
wrong.
If I went against someone other than Cameron, it would have made me look suspicious. I was already near the chopping block. My only chance to get
Actually,
off the chopping block
his defense was
was
pretty
to
good.
attack Cameron. And
If
if
he
I
didn't
had
have the
attacked anyone
defense,
else,
he
then I
would've been
would have
dead.
been on the chopping block. Either way, a Mafia dies. I was trying to kill Cameron over myself to try and.
If it
push me
wasn't
to
for Cable, I was dead. Straight up. There was no way I
Yeah.
was escaping that night.
Yeah,